Hey everybody, Shane here with daily-astrocat.com, and I'm here to talk to you about, let's talk about Venus retrograde, shall we? I call it both fascinating and surreal. It's actually magical and surreal. However, we're going to talk about that in a couple minutes, okay? What I really want to talk about is first of all, I want to talk about the retrograde itself, which is happening right here. This is Venus, and it takes 224.7 days for the Venus to orbit the sun. By contrast, it takes the Earth 365.25 days, or the way we make up for it on the leap year, 365 days, and then every 4 years, we add an extra day onto the calendar. That's how we deal with that situation here on this planet Earth, not on that hellscape of Venus, right? Now, we should know that the ratio of the two orbits, that's what I really want to home in on right now, is that it results in an 8-year cycle that occurs in exactly the same signs. So every time that Venus goes through an orbit, it's that proportion to the Earth's orbit. We're going to talk about that ratio in detail. But what it really means is that it occurs in the exact same sign for 8 years. This is pretty significant, and I'll tell you why in a minute. The difference is only a couple of degrees every time it does it. And so the current Venus inferior retrograde cycle that we're in right now actually started in 1905. Now, there's a difference between the inferior and superior. I will explain that to you too. Now, Venus is closer to the sun than Earth is. So it orbits the sun faster. And by orbiting the sun faster, what happens is that Venus will pass the Earth and the sun. So it's an optics thing. Venus doesn't go backwards. It's just that Venus is going to go around the Earth and then start catching up to it, and then it goes away from the Earth as the Earth is going around about they're roughly in that ratio there as they're going through their orbits. So what happens is it appears in our night sky that Venus goes backwards, because Venus will track up, it will go up, and then it will start going back down, and then it will meet the sun, and it'll go the other way, and it'll show in the morning. So what that means is that Venus is going to shift very soon. So the conjunction that we're having started on March 1st. That's when the two planets started making Venus appear to go backwards, started on March 1st, and now it's going to go all the way until the sun and Venus are conjunct. Got it? Got it. Now, then there will be another point where the Earth leaves it. Different, right? Now, what's happening here is that when the sun and Venus are conjunct, that's when Venus Hesperus becomes Venus Lucifer. Okay, now, I posted this on TikTok just for the heck of it, and I just said it. I posted it on Saturday yesterday, and I said it happening soon. Love troubles for Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, and unfortunately Taurus. You may get it back soon enough. Aries, you can smile in the knowledge that bridge is burned down, and it was your choice. Got it? Good point, right? Anyone who follows this channel knows that I practice modern Western astrology from a lunar standpoint. I mostly track the moon, and I don't really pay attention to sun sign things. That marks a first for me. As a sun sign Aries, look, I absolutely have to be doing my own thing. Venus may rule love and relationships, but that was the basis for the TikTok blurb, because that stuff sells on there, right? But there's another reason for the magical power of this retrograde, and we're going to start to get into that right now. We hinted around to it, but now I really want to get specific. The natural beauty of the Venus and Earth dance is the ratio, because the amount of days that they go around the planet. This ratio is 1.625. So basically that 224.7 days and the 365.24 days, if you divide those, the ratio is 1 to 6.25. The golden ratio that's used in it's classic, right? It's a Fibonacci sequence. It's in the Nautilus shell. You see it everywhere. It's just that ratio where it keeps on adding on to itself is 1.618, or about 1.62. So you can see 1.625 is not too far away from 1.62. Is this an amazing coincidence? Seems like it, right? Or is there something more to it? We'll have to see. I'm not sure. The ancients were able to track this. And the star of Inanna or Ishtar is, which is what they actually call Venus, has 8 points associated with it. Over 8 years, there's going to be 8 times that Venus does her thing. It's actually 5 inferior and 5 superior. I'm going to show you that. And I'm going to tell you what this inferior and superior conjunctions are as well. Now, that's what we're looking at. There's also a 5-pointed star that's called the pentagram of Venus. And this involves those superior conjunction points and inferior conjunction points. And I am going to actually show you how this is formed by a diagram. The real magic of Venus retrograde happens when Venus and the Sun converge, however. It's not when Venus starts backing up, but it's when they're actually conjunct. Because Venus disappears. She's conjunct with the Sun. You can no longer see her. She's going to be in the sky with the Sun at the same time. What that means is that the ancients believed that was a descent into the underworld. Mercury does the same thing. Our skies are a little more cloudy and stuff like that, so we really don't get the chance to see Mercury. The ancients really got a chance to see this, and Mercury is also one of those gods. The myth descends into the underworld, just like Ishtar and Inanna. The most prominent example of this descent into the underworld is the Sumerian myth of Inanna's descent into the underworld. Inanna's associated with Venus. It's a star of Ishtar. That was her star back to the ancient Sumerians, and the journeys to the realm of her sister, Ereshkigal. Now, Ereshkigal and Inanna are sisters, and Ereshkigal is the queen of the underworld. The myth symbolizes themes of death, rebirth, and transformation. Sound familiar? Should. This narrative and variations of it has influenced other cultures, contributing to the association of Venus with underworld journeys. The cycles of Venus, particularly when it disappears, look, they're interpreted as those symbolic descents. It's symbolic. When Venus disappears from view, it's entered a hidden realm. It's with the Sun. We know that. But they didn't know that. So that's why when it comes back, it's resurrected, it's renewed, it's reformed. Good point, right? The underworld in myth and in our modern times is like a metaphor for inner transformation, right? Death, the transformation, changes, facing one's shadow self. How about in periods of introspection and renewal? Sounds like Pisces season to me, right? And periods of going through periods of time where you're hidden, and then, ta-da, I'm here. I reemerged. Therefore, the time that Venus is not visible is a time that can be seen as a time of inner reflection. That's one way we can take it. It's very significant in the charts, and I'm going to show you in a minute. In essence, the association of Venus with the underworld is a powerful symbol of the cyclical nature of life, death, rebirth, both of the cosmos and within ourselves. Here's my diagram. Now, what I'm going to talk about, what I want to show you about this, is that we begin right here in 2023. So I begin 2023 with the superior conjunction that was that point. Now, these 5 inner, the 5 inner that are in light blue, except for the yellow one that I have there that actually happened yesterday, those are the superior conjunctions. That's the inferior conjunctions. I am so sorry. Superior conjunctions are on the outside. The Sun travels around Earth and Venus in this fashion here. So as Venus and Earth revolve around the Sun, they have this dance with each other, where Venus is far away, is close to us because it's on the other side it's closest to us on the side of the Sun, or it has that spot where it goes away from us and it's on the other side of the Sun. The spot where it's conjunct with the Sun close to us is called the inferior conjunction. Where it's on the outside is the superior conjunction. So you can see in this diagram right here, we're going from 2025, right? We started in 2024 with a superior conjunction in Gemini. Superior conjunction in Gemini. As we followed and traced along that line, we come to Aries and an inferior conjunction in 2025. Now, from 2025, Venus is going to go back into a superior conjunction as she goes around the sun again in 2026. So, it's about every 19 months where these conjunctions where these conjunctions repeat, okay? They repeat like that on that inner wheel. Now, hopefully, if you have any questions about this, you'll leave it in the comments down below. I think it's a beautiful diagram, and that's what it looks like when you take all those dots off of it that I put on there. That is called the petals of Venus. You can see how it's like a flower, and you can see where the stars are. And you can actually, if you were to take a look, when you draw on those points, those 5 points that are on Venus, you can actually see the star shape. You can see the star shape on the outside too. It's pretty significant. Now, Venus retrogrades affect both Taurus and Libra. Venus is the god of love, so relationships, art, and money, those Taurus things, they're going to need to be revised. And planets in your chart that are placed in your chart that are between where Venus is currently retrograde, say 7 degrees Aries, and I believe it's close to 24 degrees of, we'll see on the charts here. But wherever it's at there, those points there, you're going to have to, you want to be careful of. This one is potent. It's very auspiciously placed, being at the end of Pisces. Last week, I gave a rather cheeky preview to this, and I basically said, who doesn't have a few regrets? Especially where relationships are concerned. This retrograde is where we can review our latest interpersonal actions with an eye towards making things a little better. Maybe the dominatrix doesn't want you to go to Mardi Gras. Maybe not. Perhaps the whole idea is for you to go crawling back. Well, she's not going to go with you, that's for sure. Seriously, though, this is where we review our Taurus and Libra things. It's the good life. It's partnerships. It's legal things. These are all under review, right? Money? Yep, that can be under review too, Taurus. Here's where we go into retrograde. This is at 10 degrees of Aries. So we're at 10 degrees Aries, 10 degrees, 50 minutes of Aries when Venus goes retrograde. Venus is going to retrograde back into Pisces. She is. And she's going to be trying Mars when she gets there too. Isn't that nice? Let's see where the chart is for that. Oh, where'd that chart go? Did I get rid of that? Oh my goodness. I had the chart where she turned back. Okay. I'll have to throw that back in there. Venus trine Mars. So bottom line is this. Venus in Aries, she's not really in her best right now, right? She's selfish, takes effort to stay beautiful. And because it's such a striking placement, this effort certainly has a bit of vanity attached to it. Not everyone is willing to devote themselves to the work and self-care rituals that these folks can endure. Yep. Those who understand this and remain dedicated will find that this is an excellent time to explore not just romance, but the business of art and creativity. Venus has many desires, and so will you. Your mission is to find ways to satisfy them. Happy Venus, happy life. We know that Venus will be reborn in a new passion ignited by her return to the Mars and the water signs. And from the waters, she will rise again. Now, we've got some good things for you. And I just want to let you know that this degree where Venus is going to go to, she may go retrograde at 10 degrees, but she's going to have her conjunction at 7 degrees. Now, that's a very important point because the Sabian symbol for that 7 degree mark of Aries is a man succeeds in expressing himself simultaneously in two realms. Pretty prescient and appropriate, right? It's a dissolving. It's where we're stepping from one reality into another. It's how we state exactly who we are. The Sabian symbols for the first degrees of Aries are all about this declaration, this individualization. Remember, the key phrase of Aries is I am. The first house may be ruled by Mars, but it is solar in nature. The sun is exalted in Aries, just as the moon is exalted in Venus. The personal planets have an intimate relationship with the luminaries and with each other. The power of Venus that she's going to confer to Mars when they're trine will give Mars an authority over the things in Leo that he may have tripped over last fall. That's where this blurring and where we're getting this confluence of all these ideas and stuff like that as we break everything down, almost like putting light through a prism and it breaks into its component colors. We have Mars as the ruler of Aries, as the ruler of the first house that has very solar significations to it. And we can actually go ahead and claim those when Mars comes out of this with the help of Venus in this retrograde. That's why this is a very powerful retrograde. When Venus emerges from this, into Aries, she's going to be reborn as well. And this is going to be a very exciting time. Now, this is very personal for me, because I began learning and testing the coding for Daily AstroCat, the website, back in 2017, during this same retrograde. The first articles were written while Venus was still retrograde in the first week of April. Sounds good, right? Now, I was just testing my abilities as an astrologer. I was going to launch a website, but if I was going to launch a website, I wanted to make sure at least understood the subject matter, right? It was just a test. I just wanted to test my coding ability. I wanted to see if I could do something that I could update daily and make it like an app and make it perform app-like. It does. Now, I became an astrologer during that time because as I got good at it, I was like, oh, this is something that I can actually do, and it gave me something to write about, and I enjoyed. That was the whole point. I did become that astrologer. Now, this time around, I intend to elevate my level as an astrologer, right? I'm going to become an even better astrologer as I move forward. I'm ready to move forward with Venus because, like the last retrograde, when I stepped into becoming an astrologer, now I can step into becoming an even better astrologer, a higher astrologer, something to really look forward to, transcend this level of astrology and get into the very next one. I'm ready to emerge from this Venus retrograde. I'm going to go into Aries with Venus, my sun sign, reborn and renewed, just like Venus. That's what I got for you. Hey, please take the time to like this video and subscribe. Remember that intentions set, there were intentions well met. Make daily-astrocat.com part of your routine. The podcast is on YouTube at daily-astrocat.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Just remember, I do want to really stress this point, that rosette and those petals and everything, they actually are marked by the Sun-Venus conjunctions. It's not when Venus goes retrograde, it's the conjunctions that form those beautiful petals. And those are the nexus points where we want to be at. Believe it or not, I think the one in 2023 was very close to the Leo portal. That's right. And this one is, I think it was April 12th, maybe. I would have to look that up. But this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get better at this stuff every single day. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe, and share. If this resonates with you, please, then let's do this all together. If it doesn't, then leave me a note. Tell me where you think I'm faulty, where you think I'm lacking. I don't mind constructive criticism, and I do love engagement with everybody that does write to me or comment. Thank you so much. I love each and every single one of you. I appreciate you taking the time for looking at this. This is a pretty evergreen subject. It wasn't really germane to this one here. We made it rather general about Venus retrogrades at the beginning. So make sure that you can go back and revisit this anytime. We're going to be revisiting this in 2026, right? We might even take excerpts of this from then. Thank you so much. Happy astrocatting.